What if I told you that the most powerful lab you'll ever have isn't in a hospital? It's already inside you. For many women, test results can often say normal while their body says just the opposite. And in today's episode, we are talking about why trusting your body to guide you is better than any lab result, any perfect lab result, and how that shift can change everything about your healing journey. So, if you felt dismissed or ever felt dismissed because your labs came back normal or confused when your body tells a different story, you're not alone in this. Many women have been in this situation, and in this episode, I'll show you, how to rebuild your trust with your body, why that confidence matters more than any lab report, and a simple practice that you can start today to just do that, to rebuild that trust and get the confidence back. But at first, I want to start with a passage that I came across, a book that I'm currently reading. It's a beautiful and super powerful, and a book that I highly recommend. It's called The Well Lived Life: 102-year-old doctor's Six Secrets to Health and Happiness at Any Age. It's by a very prominent doctor called Dr. Gladys McGarry's. And before I share the excerpt, she actually was born in India, raised in India till about 10, 11 years of age, and then she moved back to the US where her parents are originally from. Her parents were both doctors, and they used to actually treat leprosy patients in India in the 1930s, right? It's an amazing story. So the even the backstory is so interesting and riveting. And what actually caught my attention more than anything else is that when she was on a journey on a train journey from Delhi to Bombay, she actually saw Gandhiji. He was on his salt march actually, and that left a huge impression on her in terms of how love is so powerful in our healing journey. And I'm still to read the entire book, but I wanted to share an excerpt from some parts that I've already read, and I think it's a lovely way to start this episode and just talk about what actually healing is. She says, contrary to what the medical establishment believes, doctors don't heal patients. Only patients can heal themselves. As doctors, we apply skill, knowledge, and ingenuity to treating our patients. We care deeply about people and we funnel that compassion into our work. This is our sacred role on earth. Yet, ultimately, the best doctors know that healing comes from within. She goes on to say, because although our well being is related to the challenges we face, it isn't entirely governed by them. Many people live with diseases and even great pain while remaining joyfully connected to their purpose. Others are disease free and still wake up not wanting to be alive. Health doesn't require us to live in a problem free body, just as happiness doesn't require us to experience a problem free life. Health and happiness are about being so connected to our own life force that we feel we fit into the world around us. True health is about living with the world around us as an engaged, participatory experience. It's about cooperating with the living force within us, our will, our desire to be here and to share our gifts with the world. Our willingness to do so becomes our sense of purpose, and once we have that, our souls can be healthy in any state. What a beautiful start to the book. This is one of the first few chapters, and what a beautiful start to this episode, right? We can be, especially where she says that our souls can be healthy in any state. So, no matter what you're going through, no matter what health issues you have, there's so much that you can do to live a joyful and purposeful life. But you may be facing issues, you may be having symptoms, so you might wake up after 9 or 10 hours of sleep and still feel like you've hardly slept at all. Or your joints might be aching, or your muscles might be sore, even though you've not really done any workout. Or maybe your skin breaks out into sudden rashes or hives you can't explain. Or maybe your stomach is, completely acts randomly. So constipation suddenly, 1 week, diarrhea the next week, bloating after every meal, and you can't really pinpoint as to what's going on. And then, of course, there are those unpredictable flares. There's when your body simply says no, and you have to cancel every plan that you made. The real problem is not that your body is broken and is weak. The problem is that your body is working overtime to get your attention, and these symptoms are just messages. So when you what you feel as fatigue, pain, rashes, flare ups, gut chaos is really your body's alarm system saying that something is out of balance. Please help. Right, this is not something that you are told. This is not something that we are trained to listen and do something about. But because most women are taught how to chase the symptoms with pills, with medications, with diets, or even the next fix, right? And these only scratch the surface. And the deeper issue is immune system dysregulation. It's driven by years of stress, inflammation, toxins, and a nervous system that's been in survival mode for so long. And I've talked about this in previous episodes, and I'll share them in the show notes below, in the link below, because what I want you to know is your body is not attacking you, it's protecting you in the only way that it knows how. Right, these symptoms are its way of trying to get you to do something about it. These symptoms are signals, and until you learn how to listen to them and decode them, you're only scratching the surface. And that's where so many women are stuck. So you've probably tried many things to get better. You've done the endless blood tests hoping the numbers would finally give you the answers, or finally explain why you feel the way you do. Or maybe you have got on strict elimination diets, maybe nightshades, gluten, dairy, sometimes all at once, only to feel discouraged because you don't see the sustainable results. Or you've stocked your shelves with supplements, each new bottle promising you that you will get better energy, better skin, etc., but again these don't last. Or maybe you've pushed yourself into workout plans that just not sustainable. Or maybe they actually backfired. And maybe you even cycle through medications like many people do. And don't get me wrong, medications are not evil. Like, medications are often necessary, especially in complex chronic conditions like autoimmune disease, to prevent further damage, right? And as I keep repeatedly telling my clients, and I want to let you know, dear listener, is that it's not either or. It's not either medications and treatments, or what I'm talking about today, which is your figuring out, listen to your body, holistic healing. It's usually a combination of this that works the best. So it's never no medication, no antibiotic, no pills, no doctors. It's usually a combination of that. And while you're getting some relief, symptomatic relief, you have the energy and the wherewithal to actually work on what I'm talking about, which is what is going on underneath, which is immune dysregulation. So maybe you've tried all this, you've tried different medications, and they've left you with few with the new side effects. And through it all, you're probably wondering in frustration, I am doing everything right, so why am I still stuck? See, here's the thing, none of these things are wrong. It's not that any of what you've attempted is wrong. They can all help in some way. But the reason that they haven't worked is because you're constantly looking outside of yourself for all the answers. So, till you are able to look within for those answers, till you are able to be guided by your own body, and that's exactly what I do with my clients within the body wise healing framework that I use in all in my coaching programs. It's very hard to know what is the right step, like what is going to work and what is not going to work, because each of us are different individuals. It's called bio individuality, right? So everything that you do has to be customized for you. And this is the reason that most people actually don't get well or even stay well. So they may get better temporarily, because they're taking in some supplements or some medications. As I said, they can have side effects, but they're not able to sustain that. They're not able to sustain the workout, they're not able to sustain the lifestyle, because it's not really customized for them. And that's actually a problem, and that keeps them stuck in what I call a disease merry-go-round. So what I want you to do is something radically different and radically simple, right? Here's And it's a simple practice that you can start today. I'm calling it the symptom whisper journal. It's a 5-minute daily practice, and the three things that I want you to do. Number one, write down one signal that your body gave you today. So it can be a headache, it can be bloating, it can be digestion, fatigue, or even maybe a burst of energy. It can be a good sort of symptom as well, right? So that is number one. Number two is note what was happening around it. Any new foods that you were eating? Were you stressed? Were you eating certain foods? Were you short on sleep? Or were you finally taking that nap because you were feeling so tired? right? So you have to just notice that and write it down. And number three, ask yourself, why, what might my body be asking for right now? So these are the three steps for the symptom whisper journal. Number one, write down one signal your body gave you today. Number two, note what was happening around it. Number three, what might my body be asking for right now? So just answer these questions and just do it for a week and notice any underlying patterns. And you will see that often you will get answers that you've probably not even got from your lab results, right? And this is when you start rebuilding trust in your body, the confidence that you get from finally being able to connect the dots, because your body has been telling you all along but you refuse to listen, or you probably didn't know how to listen. Will give you a huge boost of confidence, right? And it's this is very important. This is where the healing journey actually starts, and one thing builds on another. So instead of having a vicious cycle where you are doing the same things and you are stuck in repeat and you don't know how to get out of that cycle, you actually get into a virtuous cycle. Because once you start seeing a few improvements, then you start doing a few other things, then you see a few more improvements, then so it's a beautiful virtuous cycle. And here's why it is so important, because every time you ignore a signal, your body has to shout louder the next time. So small whispers, as we call them in functional medicine, like fatigue, an afternoon slump, some skin rashes, can actually turn into full blown flares. And I have faced this personally a few times in my life, and sometimes I need a reminder. And I remember this was way back in 2019, 2016 actually. This was a few years after my daughter went through a full blown crisis, health crisis, and it was very very uh, very very challenging time, many years of severe stress, etc., for me as a primary caregiver. And I've talked about it in my earlier episode. In fact, the previous episode is about my daughter's journey, and I'll share that in the show notes if you want to hear it from her. And to cut a long story short, because of those years of and sleepless nights and struggles, as a mother, as a caregiver, I suddenly started developing these unexplained skin rashes, right? And I remember going for a holiday. It was it was 2016 August. It was my birthday, and having a glass of wine, and I sort of broke out into rashes, high histamine levels, etc. But I'll not get into that. But the point is that so my legs and my hands, and I actually went on a short break as well. And fortunately I was in Europe. I was wearing covered, I was covering my arms and legs because it was cold for me. But at the same time, there were skin rashes because I was constantly itchy, right? And I there was nothing to really, there was no one thing that had happened, except the fact that my body was sort of letting me know that there was something and I needed to pay attention. And again, because of my training, when I came back, I started paying attention to that. I cut out all wine, etc., for a while. It's a social, I'm a social drinker, but I do indulge from time to time. Coffee is another one. So I cut out some of these things. I made sure that I was in bed at 9:30, 10 every night. There were very few exceptions. So I did this for about can't remember, but it's about 3 to 6 months for sure. And that's what sort of brought me back, right? That was it. I mean, I really didn't have to do much, because I listened to those whispers. So that was one example where I did. And the second example is a few years ago, where I did not listen to those whispers, and I was traveling and I was ignoring my sciatica pain. And I've talked about it earlier, so I'll not get into the details here. But I sort of ignored it, and by the time I went to the doctors, they suggested surgery, and it was a very very painful recovery because I had to do intense rehab. So that was another example of where I did not listen to the whispers till it became a scream. So then I was in intense pain for 3 months, had to go through 32 sessions of physiotherapy to start feeling relief, pain relief. So those are two extreme examples I can give you. But the point is that when you start paying attention, something shifts. You realize your body is not predictable, is not unpredictable, it's actually consistent, it's trying to protect you. And this is why it's been sort of sharing some of these symptoms with you. And this is what brings relief, not another supplement, not waiting for months for a specialist to tell you what you already feel. You know what you feel. And as I said, it's not about not visiting a doctor, not getting a diagnosis, not being on a treatment or taking medications, usually a combination. But you need to also do this. You need to also tune into your body, because that is when you will actually know what your body needs in real time. And that's the difference between staying stuck in, again, what I call a disease merry-go-round, where you keep going round and round in circles, which is a vicious cycle, or moving into healing with clarity and confidence. And that's the difference. And that's exactly, again, as I mentioned, that this is what I teach in my coaching programs. I have a 6-month coaching program called Body Wise Transformation Journey. It's a very, very deep dive. It's a deep dive into, and 100% customized, and where we work very closely together. And the other one is a 3-month program called Relief from Within, where we start on this, we lay the foundation of healing. And in both the programs, it's based on the body wise healing framework, which is exactly what I was just talking about. It's when you stop outsourcing every answer and start decoding your body's signal, and you finally have a roadmap that actually works for you. And this is exactly how my clients move from being a very warrior to becoming what I call them an inner healer. And that's exactly what I want for you. So I hope that this episode has given you a different and a new way and a more effective way of thinking about lab results, about lab tests, and understanding why you need to tune into your body and be guided by it. And this is the body wise wrap up. Based on what we covered today. Number one, your body signals are not random. They are your first and most reliable lab test. Tests and protocols can help, but they can't really replace your inner confidence. Number three is healing begins when you see symptoms at feedback and not failure. And number four, trusting your body creates clarity and calm in a way that no lab result can ever provide. Number five, the more you practice tuning in, the faster you can move from feeling stuck in flare cycles to feeling empowered in your healing. So, if today's episode resonated with you, I want you to take the next step and see exactly where you are stuck. And this is the reason I created the chronic healing scorecard. So, this is a 5-minute self assessment scorecard where you can figure out, where is it that that you need some help? Where is the gap, right? And you will spot the 5 most common gaps that women who are stuck in the flare and fatigue cycle face. You can discover what you're already doing right, and you will get personalized healing score, and so that you know what to do next. So it's completely free, and it's the best place to start building the confidence in your body again. So you can grab it right now at aninditarungta.com/scorecard. That's aninditarungta.com/scorecard. Because healing is not about doing more, it's about finally trusting your body's wisdom.